Hey guys, it's Dr. Trisha Gardner, and in today's video, I want to talk to you about 9 mindset strategies that you can use whenever you're dealing with the unpredictable. Now, obviously, most of us are caught up in very unpredictable times at the time that I'm recording this, but as poker players, we also tend to go through more than our fair share of unpredictability. So with that being said, I want to go over 9 specific strategies that you can use to help get your mind in the best possible place to deal with these unpredictable events, whether they come from a pandemic or the poker table or just life in general. So if that sounds interesting to you, then let's get into it. I think we can all agree that unpredictability is a part of everyone's life. On some level, we all have to deal with it. And no matter how much we plan and prepare, we don't know what tomorrow will bring. And for some of us, this is a terrifying thought that really increases our anxiety and stress. But for others, the mystery is one of the best things about life. No matter which group you fall into, I'm pretty sure the tips I'm going to go over will help you out. The first thing that I want to share with you is that I believe that acceptance is the key. While this is much easier said than done, you need to work on accepting that life and poker is unpredictable. You simply cannot predict in advance what trials and tribulations will come your way, just like you cannot predict what blessings and good fortunes may fall into your lap. So I encourage you to keep an open mind and don't fear the unknown. Instead, embrace it as much as possible. The second tip I'd like to offer for you is to maintain a positive attitude. Not every unpredictable event that happens to you is a calamity. In fact, many unpredictable positive things will happen to you as well. And even when something negative happens to you, there might just be a silver lining in there somewhere, if you take the time to look for it. Now, having said all this, I would be remiss if I did not encourage you to plan for what you can. While life and poker can be very unpredictable, there are things that are in your control. I would encourage you to plan for the worst and hope for the best. Where poker is concerned, this often centers around money, managing your bankroll, keeping your expenses low, things of that nature. Those are specific steps that you can take that are going to help you have a plan for when either you're running bad or you can't play because you're sick or the casinos are closed or whatever might happen. You don't have to go into full prepper mode, but having a plan for potential issues that could come up in the future is quite smart. And even better than that, have a backup plan to the main plan. The fourth tip that I'd like to share with you is that I want to encourage you to focus on the present. If you spend all your time fretting about the future or regretting the past, you're going to miss out on actually living life in the moment. If you're struggling with worry about the future, try focusing on today and the things that you can control right now. That is, when you notice yourself ruminating on the past or fretting about the future, I want you to think to yourself or say to yourself, I just noticed that I was getting caught up in the past, or I just noticed that I was fretting about the future. When you do that, just by noticing it, then you can say, isn't that interesting? Now I'm going to turn my attention to the present. A fifth mindset strategy that you can use is to set long-term goals that are under your control. While living in the present is always a good idea and one I highly recommend, you should also have some long-term goals that really get you fired up and motivated. While the rest of your life swirls around in unpredictability, at least you know you're working on something that is within your control. And you can always use these long-term goals as a guiding light when things are particularly dark. Another mindset strategy, which is really important, is to consider your purpose. That is, you need to have an important why for what you're doing. Whether you choose religion, spirituality, causes, a passion, connecting to that higher purpose has been shown to decrease unpredictability-based anxiety and depression. While you might not know what's coming next, at least you'll understand why you're here. Okay, my 7th tip, and maybe this is more of a motivational pep talk, is to keep an attitude of I can do it. I got this. Attitude is everything. Never underestimate your ability to cope with whatever life throws at you. Yes, life and poker in particular can be very unpredictable, but you are resilient. Don't believe me? Think about all the trials and tribulations that you faced in the past. They may not have been fun, but you've persevered and you're here to tell the story. My 8th tip is fairly practical, and it has to do with taking care of yourself. Your ability to deal with stress and unpredictability is boosted when you practice regular self-care. And the fundamental self-care tactics come under the headings of eat, move, sleep. That is, you want to eat a very clean diet. You want to get in some exercise every day. Doesn't have to be running a marathon, but a brisk walk around the block every day will do you good. And you want to get good sleep. Most people need 8 hours. And unfortunately, the vast majority of us get far less than that. So work on those things, and that is really going to help you deal with stress and anxiety that can come with unpredictability. The final tip I want to share with you is probably not going to come as a surprise, but I believe that everyone needs to build a supportive network. You don't have to have a lot of friends, but you really need to have some high quality ones. If you struggle with stress, anxiety, depression, then knowing that you have people that you can count on is very reassuring. If something goes wrong, think about who can you turn to in a time of need. And likewise, if someone else has something go wrong, what can you do to help them, and who would you be willing to help out? Answering these types of questions can help you feel more at ease almost instantly. Okay, it's time for you to take some action. I'd love it if you would get out a sheet of paper. Of course, you can do this on your phone or in a Google document, but take some time to divide it into 3 columns. In the first column, I want you to write out unpredictable things, stresses, worries, anxieties that you presently have. In the middle column, I want you to go through your list of worries and write down the worst case scenario by each one. Now, this might seem counterintuitive, but often the worst case scenario isn't as bad as your mind tells you it's going to be. And if it is terrible, then at least you can acknowledge it and make a plan for it. Now, using the rightmost column, I want you to write down the best case scenario for each potential worry. This will serve to boost your positivity, so that's why I've saved it for last. It'll also help you realize that unpredictable doesn't necessarily mean bad. Sometimes it can be good, even really good. I hope you've gotten some good ideas from these tips and from the action activity for things that you can do to help alleviate your stress and anxiety whenever you're finding yourself caught up in an unpredictable situation. If you like what I've been talking about, consider joining me over at peakpokermindset.com, where I have any number of free and paid mindset training tools. Don't forget to like and subscribe this video, and I'll be back with you next week with some more mindset tips. Take care.